So thanks everybody for joining. We have a nice mix of group. We have some folks who have been involved with us for a long time, and some of you that I'm just meeting. So this is great. Before I move on, just a little technicality. What we would love to do, which we found works best for Bernie with his hearing, and also you may have known that he's been recovering from stroke and some other medical treatments. It works best if we mute all the microphones, and then if you want to speak, just raise your hand and we'll call on you. And that way, he's only hearing one voice at a time. That really helps him to concentrate and discern what we're saying. So I'm going to mute you, and I'm just want to say, Matthias, can you just say a word to see that we can hear and you can hear us?
I can hear you well. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yes. Great. Great. Thank you. So great. So thank you and welcome. These meetings, I feel, are really a great privilege to be able to spend time with Bernie. You know, with his schedule and his treatments, and he's still finding time to connect with people from all over the world, you know, twice a month. And I know he enjoys it, and it's really a great way to connect with him. So, you know, just in a few words, Bernie is also known as Zen Master Bernie Glassman. He's been the abbot of ZCLA. He's the founder of Greyston, which is a big social enterprise in New York, and he's the founder of Zen Peacemakers. He developed the bearing witness programs that we've been doing, and really have been promoting social action, redefining social action in a new way. So he coined these principles that we will talk about today. These are the 3 tenets. And this is great to just have this time to be able to explore this with him. So Bernie, thank you for your time. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling okay.
Great, great. Okay, so maybe I can pass the mic to you. We also have a smallish group today, so that's great. We'll have a little bit more time for back and forth. So let's just jump in. But Bernie, maybe you would like to just say a few words, and maybe say a few words about the 3 tenets about today. How are they? How would you speak about them today?
Recently, I found out that I started using the three tenets about 30 years ago. And of course, somebody else may have used 3 tenets before that, but I don't know what they meant by it. What I meant were 3 principles that are at the basis of our work. First, to be, we call it not knowing, but it's not being fixed to any particular thought or anything, not being fixed to anything. So that when something happens, we try to see it as just what's happening. Our brain, of course, will immediately when we hear or see something, puts a label on what we're seeing or hearing or what's happening or thinking. But that label is from the past. It's got nothing to do with what's happening right now. So not knowing means not not labeling anything, not putting any kind of concept on what's going on, but just seeing it as it is. And the second is bearing witness to just put all my mind on what's happening and try to become what's happening and to be a witness to what's going on. And then the third is to act, to do what comes up because of the bearing witness and out of this state of not knowing. And very simple, three things. Not so simple to be that way. And we, over the years, have developed different programs to help us get to this mind of not knowing, open mind. And we, not just in the last 35 years, but Zen has developed over 1,000 years methods for bearing witness. And then to act out of that may be new to us. Normally we react to what's happening. We're asking people to act out of the first two, act out of being witness and first starting off with an empty mind. And then we have programs and retreats and things to help develop those. Well, now I'd like to, I always prefer, I know people don't always prefer, but I always prefer to answer questions come out of you, or act, or to bear witness to what you're saying, and I'll try to talk to that, rather than just talking to what I'm thinking. I'd like to react to what you're saying, what you're thinking, what you're asking. Not even just what you're asking. Maybe you have something to say. Maybe you have last night you had a dream and you answered all the questions of the universe and you want to share them with us. All of that, I would like to react to it. So there we go, man. Let's get forward.
Great. Thanks, Bernie. So, yeah, I just invite anybody to just raise your hand and we'll call on you. And if you can just say your name and where you're from, and then just we'll take it from there.
I also saw somebody was over there, and he's out of the picture. But if he wants to say something, please do. Okay. The invisible person.
Is that so?
Mm. He may have been there just a second and then he disappeared. Or he may be hiding out right beyond the screen.
All are welcome.
He knows. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hi.
Eric,
Hi, Bernie.
hi. Eric first and Veronica. Eric first and Veronica.
Okay.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Hi guys, I'm Eric. I live in Brooklyn. Hi Bernie. Hi, Rami. I met Bernie, I think, 11 years ago now. And it's a little known fact that he's originally from Brooklyn. But I dropped my son off at summer camp this morning in Greenwich Village on LaGuardia Place. And I hadn't walked around the neighborhood in a few years. And I went down Bleecker Street and, you know, my heart sunk into my stomach because New York is so different, even from 5 or 6 or 7 years ago. All the places that I used to know are gone. And, you know, I'm trying to just hang with that, but I feel sad about it. And I know it's just change. And I know that, you know, there's a high tide and a low tide and things get swept out and things get, but to me, last week, I noticed, or earlier this week, I noticed one of my favorite stores is gone from, you know, it's been there since 72. And I'm kind of, you know, I'm kind of just trying to hang without jumping into it too much, Bernie. I'm just trying to, like, you know, I'm trying to be patient with it, but you know, I have a melancholy feeling in my stomach, you know? So I just wanted to share that with you. As a, you know, as a New Yorker, you never really leave, but I kind of want to leave now. But
You know, I know you know a fair amount about Buddhism, and but you remember that the founder of Buddhism, we could say that we're the founders of the Zen Peacemakers, but the founders of Buddhism, a guy named Buddha, Shakyamuni, he said everything has changed. So it's sort of nice to see it in action. Not everybody accepts that everything is a change. You're right. I started in Brooklyn, some called Brighton Beach, 80 years ago. 80
wow.
years. And you know, it was very different. It was not like it is now. And I love it. To see what's going on. My body is changing. I look at a picture of me. I'm just a relatively old guy now. But 80 years ago, I was not an old guy. I was a little baby. So, but I do like to see, I haven't been to Brighton Beach for quite a while. And I would like to be, right now I'm sort of handicapped a little by my stroke. So I can't go to Brighton Beach. But I will get there before it goes through another metamorphosis. It's all Russian now. When I was born, it was all Jewish. Now it's all Russian. Of course, it could be Jewish and Russian, but it wasn't all Russian 80 years ago. I think it took, when did it become Russian? About 10 years ago, or 20 years ago?
I wouldn't say 20, but probably 15, yeah.
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 Anyway. Yeah. Anybody else notice that there are things in life that are changing?
Well, I have a 9-year-old son, and he's almost this tall now. Remember Oscar, Bernie?
Remember Oscar?
Huh?
He asked, do you remember Oscar?
My son Oscar.
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember him being in this town, but I can't remember when I saw him last, but
Yeah.
I do. Okay, Veronica, you have it.
Okay. Hi, Bernie. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I am from El Paso, Texas, so I live by the border. At the situation with the refugees going on right now.
You say Houston?
El Paso, Texas, by the border. Near New Mexico and Mexico.
Yeah.
So I work with detainees on a daily basis. I go to the detention center and I teach meditation in Spanish. And it's been very difficult because when I do teach on meditation and on being moments, they have a very hard time. And they come to me afterwards with tears in their eyes and they don't know how to deal with their pain in meditation. So they ask me questions that I don't have answers to. And it's been really difficult in the last 2 months with what's happening in the border and detainees. And I'm having a hard time personally too, helping them and knowing how to help them and what to say sometimes. So I'm wondering if you have any insight on, I know bearing witness is becoming the situation, but when it comes to teaching meditation, I'd like to learn what to say to them sometimes as far as dealing with their pain now, being separated from their family members.
I'm taking a little time because in situations like that is I don't know if I say I'm teaching meditation per se. You know, I taught in prisons and they probably build it as teaching meditation.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't think of it that way. I was teaching meditation, but I didn't think of it that way.
Mm-hmm.
I taught meditation to homeless people who had never done meditation. And I didn't think of it that way. I first tried to get people to using my language now, I would say I would first get people to bear witness to what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
When I was teaching in the prison and also in the homeless centers, I didn't use bearing witness. But I asked people to be quiet and try to pay attention well, I didn't quite say it that way, but I'll say it now. Try to pay attention to what's happening. I was trying to walk them into bearing witness. I didn't. I'm trying to think. Did I try to get them to experience not knowing? I'm not sure. Of course, in Zen, in a way, it's the ultimate to teach us how to be just doing what's happening naturally, what's coming up. It's very hard, but it's worthwhile, I think. But I wouldn't start with that when I was in prison or the homeless shelter. But I would be aiming towards people just being, which is not sticking to some concept. So I don't get trapped into ask one person to say, what is that? Forget about that, man. But if I ask, what is that? They automatically go into their thinking mode. They let their brain say, oh, that's such and such and such. So how do you get somebody to just see or hear or feel something without going into the brain and coming up with a concept? How do you do that? That's what I would like to have them do. So such simple things, not so simple.
Right.
If I tell them, it's so simple. Let's go on, but I'll try to. I won't totally let go of that thought. And if you have a thought, so how to help somebody to just experience something that for the first time. To first, however you experience a sunset for the first time. Now, of course, if we experience a sunset, we have names. Wow, that's a pretty sunset. Or we have different names. But the first time we saw a sunset, we didn't have names. Unless we started thinking, oh, look at that son said. I have to find it in a book, or what they call that. You don't do that. It is this, wow. Can you then see a sunset and again say, wow? Or already, is it the second time? Is it conditioned by the first time to where we can't just see it as a sunset, but we see it as, wow, that's prettier than the other sunset that I saw. How do you see things for the first time? Now, this is the first time I've had a stroke. It's quite a thing. And I might have another one. And would my second stroke be conditioned by the first? I was unconscious for 3 days. We never repeat things. It's never the same. And there's always some good and some bad in my mind. So, bad, I remember in my mind thinking the first couple of days after my stroke, I was unconscious. Oh, I was what they say is unconscious, because I wasn't responding to anything. But I did have a thought, I had a thought of, I should die, because in this state, I'm just a pain in the neck to everybody. But I didn't have to die. How do you just die? I couldn't move, I couldn't do anything. So I did it again. I had another stroke. And I went unconscious for a couple of days. Would I still go through the sense of saying, oh, I should die because I'm no help to anyone? Maybe, maybe not. And now I also have the experience of what it was like the first couple of years. And my stroke was 2.5 years ago. And I've been a pain in the neck to a lot of people. A lot of people have put out a lot of effort to help me. So, this is not now, but my right side was totally paralyzed. And now it's not totally paralyzed. But that's taken a lot of help from a lot of people to get me from that total paralyzed state to this. And if I get to a totally non-paralyzed, it'll take a lot more help. But what helps me is I always take it as something new. I don't say I'm paralyzed, like, it's not like it was 2 years ago. It's always new. So in some way, that's sort of exciting. You poor people, you can't experience the newness of being paralyzed. But it's okay, you don't have to. Somebody else have a non-paralyzed question? Yeah.
Hi, Bernie. I'm Matthias. I live in New York as well, and practice here, the Still Mind Zendo. And I've been practicing for over 20 years, and needless to say, probably that Zen practice has been usually transformational for my life. And one of the things I've lately started to think about a lot is in either bringing other people to Zendo, or I am with people having an interest in meditation and kind of giving them a Zen book. I more and more wonder whether Zen, for lack of a better word, is too zen-y for people. I sometimes experience other people having a hard time to relate to, I guess, the strict structure, the sutras, the Japanese, and I'm just curious what you you talked earlier a little bit about when you don't even talk about teaching meditation, you just talk about bearing witness. But I sometimes wonder, like, could we as a community to do more to make Zen less foreign, less Japanese, more accessible to people?
I started meditating a little over 60 years ago. And then it was not acceptable to people. Not acceptable to people where I lived. In parts of the world, it was very acceptable, but we didn't know those people. Now, I think it's acceptable everywhere, and it has different names now. You don't have to call it meditation. You may call it mindfulness. Oh, you mean mindfulness is meditation? Yeah, man. But you have different names. But to see somebody meditating is not so unusual nowadays. They even do it in schools. Basketball teams. Chicago, wasn't it? The Bears, who was that guy, the coach that told you to players and meditate?
Phil Jackson, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's not so unusual, but still, I'm not sure if we know what it means, meditation. And if I were to tell you that what it means is to get to a state where you're seeing things as they happen, that you're not reacting to what's happening, but you're seeing things as they are happening. Well, is that what I'm doing? Well, that's meditation leads you to that. And if I say it out loud, it's not strange anymore. When I started meditating and would talk about it, it was strange. They thought it was some kind of cult. What are you doing? You know. Now it's not thought that way. So I don't know, what does that have to do with anything?
Bernie, can I ask, what I heard Matthias ask is, in a simple way, is how to make Zen less Zenny, more accessible to other people.
Say again?
How to make Zen less Zenny, the Japanese forms, all of that. So I wonder, Bernie, do you see, what is the purpose you see in the forms? This is how you sit. You put your legs together. This is how you bow. Do you see the purpose or benefit of it as a training, as a thing of itself? Where do you see it now?
Yeah. Of course, you know what the word Zen means. The word itself, Zen, means meditation. It's not in English. In fact, it's not really in Japanese, because it originates from the Sanskrit word jhana, which means meditation. And it goes from India to China to Japan. And the Japanese can't pronounce jhana, that word, jhana. They don't have those letters. So it became Zen. Now, the original word, jhana, when I say meant meditation, but it was, what was meant was much more the meaning that I have been talking about. The word, the state of the mind that's in meditation. In India, or in Japan, the goal is not to be in the state of meditation all the I got to back up. It is the goal for the state of the mind to be, as I had talked about before, of seeing things as they are, not without concepts, The physical state that people associate with that, is that what is meant, that you should be in that state, physical state? Well, I used to talk about a person who had no legs. Does that mean he can't do meditation because he has no legs? Because he can't put his legs into a certain position because he has no legs? But it's all about getting the state of the mind, the consciousness, to be in a certain state. And now different forms develop around the world, in Korea, China, Japan, United States, Europe. But those are just forms that are developing in those countries. I don't know if in Japan for a long time they didn't use chairs. I don't know if had a Japanese teacher, Zen teacher, who had his knees are all screwed up and whatever. And he developed what they called, I forget the Japanese word, but it was a sitting Zen. He developed, and so people who sit with him, their form was not what what you saw other people doing. It was sat in chairs. If I were to teach a Zazen right now, I couldn't. I'd have to do it in a chair. I can't. Does that mean it's not good? No, no. So I don't talk that much about the forms. I prefer if you were to see me teaching Zen, I still do. But if you were to see me, you wouldn't call it Zen. Probably the person that's the closest now to studying with me is Rami. And it's not like I studied with my teacher. He studied in other Zendos. How he studies with me is not how he did it with others. Mine is catching him saying things like you gotta sit this way, and I said bullshit. So that's how I teach him. I teach him by making sure that he doesn't get caught up in a form. You can play with a form. You could use forms. I love forms. I did the Japanese word kata forms. I did karate. But to get caught up with them, no. But the brain is always looking for things to get caught up with. Instead of saying, well, that helped me see that, okay. But I'm not going to get caught up in that. And I'm not sure if I where I went, but anyway, I went somewhere.
That was very helpful. Thank you, Bernie.
Now you haven't said something. Okay, give us a little. You said, how do you pronounce your name?
Neve. Neve. Yeah, sorry. Neve.
Irish, huh?
It's an Irish name. I'm in Dublin. So, hi.
Mm-hmm.
My question, when it comes to taking action. And responding to a situation in which there is suffering, and what I'm thinking of is a housing crisis in Ireland at the moment, and a lot of homelessness, for example. How does one maintain not knowing? How do you not get swept away by the urgency or the suffering that you witness and come back to not knowing? Yeah, I don't know if that makes sense, but
Yeah. the so I had my stroke 2.5 years ago. And for me, an interesting thing is that during those 2 years, I haven't had any pain. I haven't suffered pain. I won't say I haven't suffered. I'm not sure what that means exactly, but I haven't. Now, I ask myself, if there was somebody else in this, would he have called things that I encountered as suffering? Maybe. Is that just a name, suffering? So I've encountered things as they happened, but I haven't suffered pain. But I don't know if what I suffered, somebody else might not call suffering. I don't know, because I haven't suffered it. So I can't have, I've encountered lots of different things. I don't call them pain, but maybe that's what somebody means by pain. I don't know. I don't mean it. One thing I have encountered is memory. My memory is terrible, but maybe that means that I'm not suffering things, because you have to have memory to suffer things. I'm not sure if I'm going to where something, if I'm answering, but I got myself on track of saying that suffering requires memory. And if my memory goes, the suffering goes. If so, do I want that memory back, knowing that it means I'm going to have suffering back? Do I have a choice? I don't know. I don't think I have a choice. But I don't think it's just due to my stroke. I haven't had much pain before also. So could the suffering and remembrance of that go together? And you got me on the new track. I think of what's this all about. Does it mean that the more we remember, the more we suffer? This is a good place to end it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's a good place for me to end it because it gives me a lot to think about. Okay, I'm going to say goodbye.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. I'm going to unmute in a minute so you can all say goodbye. I just want to say thank you to Bernie for your time and your energy, and I thought it was a terrific meeting. I got a lot from it, so thank you. And thanks for everybody joining from Dublin and New York and El Paso. It's been really rich. And thanks for everybody who also donated for this. You're helping us with our programs and also supporting Bernie. So thank you so much. And feel free to continue. I already have some thoughts that I would love to continue this. So I'm actually going to post my thoughts with the video once we post it on the membership platform, but it would be great to continue the conversation there. So thank you so much. Have a good rest of the day. And take care. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you,
Bye,
Rami.
everyone.
Thank you, Bernie.
Thanks, everyone.